Okay, we'll call the December 12th meeting of the Planning Commission to order. We'll begin with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jess, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Cook.
Here.
Mr. Pergovic.
Here.
Mr. Sidoti.
Here.
Mr. Tiedemann.
Here.
Mr. Varga.
Here.
Mr. Cicero is excused. Mr. Snow.
Here. Entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of the August 22nd meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Jess, when you're ready.
Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Pergovic.
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti.
Yes.
Mr. Tiedemann.
Yes.
Mr. Varga.
Yes.
Mr. Snow.
Yes. We have 4 public hearings this evening. The format we follow for public hearings is we allow the applicant an opportunity to tell us what they want to do at a particular location. Then those wishing to speak in favor are given an opportunity. Then those wishing to speak against are afforded a similar opportunity. So with that in mind, a conditional use permit to allow a child daycare center at, let me put my glasses on,
6135
6135 Heisley. I see that applicant is here. Would you come forward and identify yourself for the clerk, please? And tell us what you want to do at that location.
Hello, my name is Carrie Haskins. I'm Mia Carter, and we are looking to open up Creative Explorers at 6135 High Street.
Okay, anyone wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone wishing to speak against? Okay, we'll close the public portion. That was a daycare center at one time previous, was it not?
And
Two
3
times.
centers, I believe.
And then at one time, I think it was a restaurant. Am I right, Larry?
In between, then it was a daycare center again.
So, any comments from the administration?
Mr. Chairman, we did indicate in the proposed conditions a general statement on item 2 regarding the applicant shall coordinate with the fire department to ensure proper fire protection and fire evacuation plans. And then subsequent to the writing of the staff report, we received, I guess, more finite, more definite specific comments from the fire department. And I just wanted to read those to you.
Okay, go right
So the
ahead.
fire department shall conduct an inspection prior to opening, and fire alarm system shall be current with annual inspections. Fire extinguishers shall be up to date, and exit and egress lights shall be working.
Okay. You agree to that, right?
Yes, we're aware of that.
And so how long has that building been vacant?
We were under the impression since April.
Okay, so fairly recently? Okay. Commissioners, any questions from the applicant or the administration?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Sidoti?
thank you. Good evening. In your letter to the city, you said that you opened and operated the Kitty Castle Child Care Center.
Yes.
Is that the one in Cleveland on Lake Road?
Yes.
Did you own that business, or you just operated it for the owners?
Own it?
Oh, you own it, okay. Is that continuously going to be going on? Who's going
Yes.
to run that?
It's still open.
Okay, all right. Is this Creative Explorers Child Care Center, will that be accredited by the National Association for the Education of Young Children?
Yes.
Good, excellent, okay. You plan on having an automatic external defibrillator in that building?
We have not planned on having one. We don't have one currently, but if we require that, we are certified instructors, so we are completely,
I won't require it, but I would highly recommend that one be installed.
okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with 3 conditions, with the second condition being updated to reflect the requirement of the police, the fire department inspection.
Is there a second?
Second.
Just when you're ready.
Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Pergovic.
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti.
Yes.
Mr. Tiedemann.
Yes.
Mr. Varga.
Yes.
Mr. Snow.
Yes. You're all set.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Second public hearing, conditional use permit to allow a temporary event at 7850 Manor Avenue. Is that applicant here? So it's your turn in the barrel.
Good evening. I'm Kate Miller. I'm the marketing director at Great Lakes Mall, and we are looking to host a family-friendly outdoor event that enhances an event that we've been hosting for several years called the Boo Bash, which is mostly a children's event. So we're looking to kind of grow that and draw additional family-friendly activities, and also market the Brew Kettle, which is going to be open quarter.
Okay. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone wishing to speak against? Okay, we'll close the public portion. Commissioners, any questions for the administration or the applicant?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Sidoti?
can you identify the nonprofit organization that will benefit from this event?
Yes, it'll be the United Way of Lake County.
Very good, good. And this is just for this one event on October 9th, is it?
October 19th, Saturday.
19th, just
Correct.
this one.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Go right ahead. Any other questions?
Just, do you, obviously, you've gotten the agreement of all the adjacent businesses and coordinated with the mall ownership, management? I mean, all that coordination's been done?
Yeah, so where the event location is situated, it's on mall-owned property, which we had to be very careful about the site that we chose. We couldn't host it on Dillard's property. But we have worked with Dillard's store manager to ensure that we're not impeding on his entrances. The one on the, I guess would be the south side, shown right there, is one of his busier entrances. And how we have it plotted out currently, it's about 37,000 square feet, which is, I think, much larger than we're actually going to need. So we are going to downsize that towards the east side of the property so that it'll open up his entrances as well. But he's fully in favor. All of our tenants are in favor. Anything that drives traffic to the property is a great thing.
Thank you.
You've read the staff report. You're in agreement with the 7 conditions that are there?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with 7 conditions.
Second.
Just when you're ready.
Mr. Perkovich.
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti.
Yes.
Mr. Tiedemann.
Yes.
Mr. Varga.
Yes.
Mr. Snow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell Tony how easy it was. Okay. Conditional use permit to allow service station, Get Go, at 6800 Center Street. Is that applicant here? Go right ahead. If you'd identify yourself for the clerk, please.
Yes, my name is Pat Avolio, Director of Real Estate Development for Giant Eagle, Inc., and I'm the applicant for the conditional uses. I also have here in the audience and maybe engineer, Robert Wellert, and our architect, but I think we're only going to cover the conditional use first.
Correct. So, go right ahead.
I mean, we're seeking, I guess, 2 conditional use permits this evening, one to allow a service station
And the second for the outdoor dining.
for the outdoor dining.
Right. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak against? Okay, we'll close the public portion. Any comments from the administration relative to the CUPs?
No, other than the items that the conditions that we recommended in the staff report for each CUP.
Commissioners, questions of the applicant? Mr. Varga.
This is
go
for the
right ahead.
outdoor eating area, right? You have, I notice you have bollards on the east side of where the fenced-in area is going to be? Is that correct?
Get the magic.
Yeah, yes. There will be bollards along the entire frontage. We do have do you have the elevations as well? We have elevations that will indicate the bollards. So,
Okay,
yes.
so actually, you show more bollards there than you show on the plan. Let's go back to the plan. You only show bollards here. So you're going to put bollards along that whole side? That's what.
Yes, there will be bollards
what your
along the entire
elevation
front.
shows.
We'll actually correct that because it's showing a older, there are actually bollards there, but they're not
Right.
visible.
Yeah.
So we'll need to blow that up for the next time so it's a little bit more clear.
Okay, so the entire seating area.
Correct.
Completely will be protected. What about at the ends, here and here? You're gonna
Yeah,
have
there
protection
there
there,
are,
too?
yes, there are along there, if you look at those 3 little dots up there,
I see them. They don't look like bollards, but I understand. That's why I asked the
we
question.
probably need to exaggerate them for the presentation purposes and
Just-
size.
Just as long as the seating areas are protected.
They will be, yes.
Anything else? Entertain a motion for the item number 3, conditional use permit to allow service station at 6800 Center Street.
This is for the outdoor dining, right?
No.
This is for the service
for
station,
the
number
gas
3.
Motion to approve a conditional use permit for a gas station in the B2 General Business District.
Is there a second?
Second.
Jess, when you're ready.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovic?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Tiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Snow?
Yes. Now, item 4, conditional use permit to allow outside dining at 6800 Center Street. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with the two conditions.
Second.
Just when you're ready.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovic?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Tiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Snow?
Yes. You're all set there. Don't sit down, because we're going to go to number 5 now. Or number 6, number 5. Preliminary site plan of a service station at 6500 Center Street. 6800. Go right ahead.
Again, my name is Pat Avolio, Director of Real Estate Development with Giant Eagle, Inc. We're seeking a preliminary site plan approval for our new Gecko Cafe Plus Market concept, approximately 5,400 square feet. Convenience store that has 30 indoor restaurant seats. We do have sit-down, not sit-down table service, but tables to sit and food prep on premises. This is a little bit different concept than what we probably did about 4 or 5 years ago along Reynolds Roads and Industrial. So this is a little bit of a different concept, but we're here to, seeking approval for that. And there's a few comments there, and we have our architect here that's brought the elevation of materials. We can leave that with the city staff if you all want to see that. Additionally, there's a couple comments in the staff report that they related to the elevations where they're looking at brick columns the entire way up. If it's amenable to the commission, we would like to prefer or propose an alternative of brick columns 6 foot high and then a architectural wrap feature above that itself. I view it and we view it as a more architectural pleasing aspect itself. The architect here has handouts of that elevations and can bring up the material board for the
Would you
commission.
identify yourself, sir?
Well, I'm Nick Deutsche. I'm an architect.
So
We want to hold that against you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
I think he's
So-
been here in the past as well
I know,
for,
I know. So, I'm going to make a comment relative to the brick columns. In the past, we've always asked people to take the brick columns the full height up to the top of or bottom of the canopy. I'd like to see that continue here, but I'm just a vote, so.
I mean, we can do that. It's just that we think it's actually a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So if you have the handouts, let's not go on the materials. I think you actually drew. Yeah, we're willing to do that, but, if that's what the,
Kathy, you okay?
Here, I'll get his attention.
should have probably brought was a Google image of the location over at, on Reynolds. That's all we're proposing, something very similar to that. Again,
We just had a re-imaging of a Sunoco station down on Menor Avenue further down, and we asked him to take the brick columns up to the canopy.
I mean,
Just a comment.
the answer is no, then we're willing to work with that, but we think
What's the pleasure of the commission?
Well, I would also like to see the columns wrapped with brick all the way up.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with you, but what does this architectural wrap look like that you're proposing?
It'll be a composite material similar to what is used on the building in a gray color that matches the building.
send a photo of what, it's similar to what's at Reynolds Road
Well,
location.
this is only a preliminary, so you have time till the final, so.
We can provide that, that, and again, if, I think we have three of y'all that say no, but if,
That's only 3/7, or 3/6 in this case. Number
Let-
7's not
Yeah.
here.
I think being that the brick goes all the way up to the underside of the cornice fascia around the building, the brick goes up higher on the building, that would be my justification for wanting to see it go up on the columns.
Brick it is.
You have,
It's 4.
it's 4.
Okay, you see which way the wind's blowing.
Nope, that's good. That's,
No,
Jonathan, can you switch over again?
The other comment or question that we have, I think, that was out there is a question on parking spaces. And since we have 30 indoor seats, we'll provide justification at the final stage for
The increased
square
parking.
footage in accordance with, with the code itself. Because we do have seating which has a 1 per 75 requirement versus a maximum and 1 per 85 minimum. And the convenience, I think, is 5 per 1,000. So we'll provide that, but that'll be the justification that we'll present at final for the additional parking. Between that, team members,
I just had a question. Is that 6 feet now? On that, that's the one on Roberts?
I believe that's less than 6 feet.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, so I think that's about 4 to 5 feet there. It's hard to tell with the scale and the parallax there, but I'm going
Height
to,
of the pump. Well,
yeah, looking at the person, it's about 5 feet, maybe.
Yeah.
Five
Right.
foot 4.
right, not 6, but I think we're past that, right?
I think we're past that.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Well, yeah, we already have 4, so I can count.
There's,
So, with respect to that, I think the other comment that was of significance with respect to the, out there was at the entrance coming off of Center. Our engineer, Mr. Bob Willert here, has some thoughts of how we can put some curbing to curve and force that. We'll work through that with the engineering department and staff.
which entrance are we talking about?
The
Point to,
That
one right there on Center.
Okay.
So I have a question for you. Who's going to replace the dead trees that are on the site now that were put in? You have a landscaper that's going to do that?
Those trees would be the responsibility of our landlord. If they're dead, then we do need to have that notified to Visconti.
There are some dead trees on site.
I will notify them of that. I know they're doing other work.
Well, I mean, that's a very visible location, as you'll agree. So I think we need to accommodate that. Mr. Varga, did you have a comment on the truck?
Yeah, okay, we can talk about that. I'm a little torn here. This entrance down, well, the entrance up there is 14 feet wide. It's just an entrance, only people coming in off the curb lane of 615. I understand. They come in, they go to the pumps, great. Also, there's another entrance over here that's, I think it's 22 feet wide or 20, I'm not sure. It's considerably wider. It's off of this main drive that comes off the traffic light at 615. And it allows people to turn into the gas station who are coming north on 615. They turn onto the drive and then they curve in there like that. My concern is, I see how people can get in. They come in here, they come in here. My concern is that when they're done getting gas, when they leave, when they want to get back out to 615, how are you going to keep them from trying to get out this way?
That entrance, we would sign it with do not enter and other signs, but that entrance is actually what we're bringing in our fuel deliveries.
I realize that. I saw the diagram and it shows. Now, I understand that. That happens once a week, once every couple days, right?
Every day.
Every day. If
yeah.
you're lucky, it happens every day, right?
No,
My concern is that when someone's right here and they want to get out over here, they're not going to turn around and go all the way back this way. I'm just speaking from personal experience and the way people drive. They're going to want to just go straight out. And I know you can put a sign up, but we've had a lot of experiences with signs and the proverbial pork chop, that you put to keep people from making a left-hand turn. And none of that is very successful in this town because people go where they want to go. So I guess my question is, can you find a different place to bring in the gas truck can you bring the gas truck in from behind and come in and then go out? And tighten that up so that it's only an entrance and not literally a two-lane drive. Because I'm just afraid, this is my concern. My concern is that people are going to be coming in, and other people are going to be trying to slip by them and go out. And just putting a sign up, it's my personal opinion, I don't think that's a signage is not effective enough to keep people from cutting from here to get out, because they're going to go the shortest way.
We can look at evaluating and shrinking that down to the minimum. We can also look at where the trucks are coming from.
And I'm not trying to solve it for you,
No,
but I see this as a problem. I see people literally trying to drive past each other. You know, people coming in, people trying to sneak out, driving in against the grain. It's the shortest distance, and people will always drive the shortest distance to get to where they want to go. And I don't think a sign is going to help you. So my only thought was that if the truck came in from the back, went around Giant Eagle, came in the back, slipped in here, you might be able to go out this way. But I'm not trying to solve, again, I'm not trying to solve it for you, but I see that drive as a problem with the width and with the shortcut, people using it as a shortcut to get out.
I can see that, so we can look at what some alternatives for that in order to do that.
Right.
Our preference is to bring the truck furthest away so that truck doesn't try to come out that way, but we'll evaluate it.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I'm just afraid we've gone through this with other commercial properties, and people will ultimately go the shortest distance, even if it means driving across landscape islands. They will go the way they want to go, and it's just our experience.
Oh, I agree with you. I can guarantee you that in the city market, except where they're stopped by the landscape islands running the length, they run diagonal through it. I've seen it.
Right. Okay. Are we talking about any architectural items at this point?
Well, it's the preliminary, but you want to mention them, go ahead and mention them.
I think I know there was a lot of concern over materials for it. So we have this will be a full with me. It's a full brick. It's not it's a full brick.
It's a
itself.
4-inch veneer brick.
Yes.
The color is complementing the color of the red masonry on the supermarket.
And we can leave this so, with the staff, if that's all right, and if there's other folks want to look at it, we can go into whatever level of detail you want tonight. We understand we have to come back, but to the extent we can satisfy any issues.
I have one request, and it's more just scope rather than the materials. The materials are the ones you use. It's kind of a package. I understand that at least. You have this banding that goes around three sides of the building on the top, the blue banding with it has a coping on the top, and it's a fascia. We've required other people in this development to treat not only the street side, but the back, what people said, well, that's the back of the building. Well, it's the side that people approach it from. I would like to see that banding stripped all the way around on all four sides.
That correction was made, I have it.
Oh, so someone's already saw that.
Well, we've made revisions based off some staff comments and some of
Okay.
our
I
internal
didn't-
comments for that.
I didn't know that's fine, that's great, I'm not looking for much other adjustment to the design, other than I'd like to see that banding consistent on all four sides. Put your letters, in the sense to treat, there's no real back to the building. You see it from inside the development, you see it from outside the development.
So this is
Okay,
the response to that comment.
yeah, it would be the same blue color.
Yes.
It's hard to see that.
It's a shadow.
And I don't care if you put the lettering, you have, products on that, if you want to do that.
I think that is going to disappear based off of the
Sign requirements.
sign requirements and other aspects
Oh,
itself,
okay.
but that needs to be
That's right.
submitted separately, so when we update our elevations for planning commission, I believe those are gone.
And only one other, okay, you want to say something?
Go ahead.
Only one other thing, and we have a rule about buffering or enclosing any kind of ground-mounted equipment. And we have, I'm not sure what that tank is right there. I'm not asking you to move the tank, but I'm asking you to put a surround of a brick wall or something around that, so we don't see that.
Okay, we do have something for that. That's for the CO2 tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to move it someplace else, that's fine too, but if it's going to stay there, I don't want to see it from the driveway, the driving system, the driveway system of the facility. So I'd like to see that enclosed somehow.
One more question I have. Have there been any thought given to putting electronic charging stations in? Do you have any demand for that anywhere?
Yes, and yes. We were working with one of the, probably the largest. We have our own that we're working on, as well as a partnership that we have with one of the, if not the largest, electric charging vehicle company.
Did I say electronic?
Electric,
I meant
I'm
to
sorry,
say electric.
EV, sorry. So
So,
we'll probably end up with our plan of identifying this. I actually have a conference call tomorrow with this company from California that's looking at existing locations, well, they're focusing on existing, but they also want to look at new as well. But the existing,
one of your competitors just put some in on 306 and across the street from your filling station there.
well, we're probably working with the same group that put it in at the competitors.
Okay. That was my comment. So I'd like to see that sooner rather than later if it fits into your overall scheme.
We'll identify location for that, but that I think will come back in separately once.
I didn't see the condition here.
The one company that is really looking is they're looking at predominantly everybody's existing portfolio first, because they want to move quickly, and then secondly, come back with newer locations that are being built.
Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. Anything else, Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Sidoti?
that photograph to the left on your right, where you have your hand, that's the front of the gas station, correct? Okay, that wall, I believe that's the western part of the wall. What color is that? Is that the gray or the charcoal? See
This
no,
one?
no. On the end there, the western part, right there.
Right there?
Go down there, the walls. Yeah, what is that?
That's glass.
Stone material.
That's, what color is that? That stone there?
It's beige.
Beige, okay,
This is the actual material.
okay. All right.
The gray up is this.
And is that the rear of the station there, or the side?
No,
Same-
it's the same from a
twisted,
different
okay.
angle.
Yeah, what I was concerned about is your western wall on the supermarket. And you're looking at it from Tyler, the western wall is so dark. You know, you look at the eastern wall, and you have the brick, and then you got your next trim, and then you got this big, dark, gray wall. And it just, in my opinion, I'm speaking for myself, it just looks so drab from the street.
The front wall on
Yeah.
the far left
Yeah, western wall.
of the supermarket itself, it does look a little
It does
grayer
look,
than
looks a lot grayer.
than what that is.
Shadow all
I just hope we don't get into that with the gas station, 'cause
It's a uniform brick color all around.
yeah, but it just looks, like he said, it just looks so drab from the street. You know, there's nothing there to pop that building, you know, in my opinion, but that's all right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I do think this with that facade actually there will face center. We'll look at, we can maybe have some photos where this is a red brick to be complementary to the existing building in the city market. We have probably decent photographs that will show the gray with the stone with a lighter brick, just to give you how that looks. It is a lot lighter in color,
I
so
think it'd
it
be
shouldn't be
better.
that.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Now, you indicated earlier that the landscaping was the responsibility of
The
Visconsi?
existing landscaping is the responsibility of Visconsi, I think and they also have open requirements from the original development that have been put in, because I believe there are some brick piers missing and additional landscaping missing. I believe,
My comment is relative to the additional landscaping, is that when we originally talked to the representative of Visconsi, I said to him, I'd like to have that look like what it looks like in Solon. He says, well, that's our center down there too. He said, so we could certainly do that. I want to be sure that there's enough landscaping around this facility, not to hide it, but to complement what you've done there.
So, we'll provide, and I think we have foundation plantings as well that will indicate on on these
And it needs to be
elevations.
irrigated.
And yes, we're well aware of that because we had that discussion on the supermarket itself.
Right, okay. So, anything else, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, just one comment. Just we were talking about the foundation plantings just a second ago. One of the staff comments was in the original submission really just shows the foundation plantings on the north and the northwest corner. Were there any thoughts about wrapping that around, especially into the eating area that seems like it's a little bit wider?
I think we have some opportunity to do that, so we can come back with that. Also have to review how that sits with relationship, something like the tank and that. So we'll look at that for the time of final having that, but I think that can be accommodated, whether immediately adjoining the foundation area or between the curb and the seating area might be a
Okay.
better aspect to provide a break from the vehicular traffic. But if we can show something, or if you have a preference, we can.
Sure.
So do you have enough information to go on for the final?
We do, I think
Okay.
we do, and we have a little bit of work to do to provide that, and we'll continue to work with staff,
Okay.
get there.
Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion for the preliminary approval.
Motion to approve the preliminary site plan based on 9 conditions and taking into account tonight's discussions and conversations regarding coming back and incorporating these ideas into the final site plan.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Jess, when you're ready.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovic?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Tiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Snow?
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Set, huh? Miscellaneous review of building materials at 7787 Reynolds Road. Is that applicant here? Come forward and tell us what's going on.
Yes, my name is Alan Ham. I'm the architect for Mission Barbecue. The question came up during plan review about the materials that's used for the awnings, which is a corrugated metal material that we pre-stress a bit to give it a weathered look. Mission's branding is sort of a very rugged appearance that they like to portray. It's not suit and tie barbecue, it's sort of every man's barbecue. And so this has been the material that's been in use for, I think we just opened up our 84th location. And we really don't ever have any complaints or issues about the materials most often. And so we're here to discuss it. And any concerns.
Okay, I think there's also some mention of the bollards that were going in then.
I think that's
That's the next item.
That,
that the next
it's the
item?
same project, but if you want to,
I
Put it
think
one
we
time,
wanna
we can do that.
dovetail 'em. Hello again. Welcome back.
Record.
Oh, David Berkovitz from LRC Realty.
Okay, how are we doing with the bollards in the knee wall?
So, we had our engineer take a look at it and look at the city requirements. And really he came to an unsure conclusion because we weren't around for the construction of that wall fully. So, didn't swear to it, wasn't gonna lie about it. So, next thing to do was to do bollards with the idea that we would then come back and also at the same time infill it similarly to what we did at our Starbucks next door, so they don't look so much like a bollard.
Right.
They become more of a fencing feature.
We like fencing features. We don't like looking like we're tying off a freighter.
Well, and speaking to the tenant's architect, and also some additional discussion, I mean, it was one of those things like, hey, it's here, you know, let's just keep it, and additional discussions, it was also, you know, removing it's not gonna be bad, it's gonna help change the look of the building. It was so it doesn't look so much like, you know, anything's left of the Bravo, and give it a new look.
So, Kath, any comments from the administration?
With regard to the patio, the administration has no objections to the changes. I believe that part of the wall is already down anyway.
Well, we originally, the intent was to make that patio area smaller, so they had started demolishing the wall to where they thought they were going to keep it. So yes, part of it has been demolished, but not all of it.
And the building will have a completely new feel.
I know.
So, I mean, again, when the administration looked at the new railing, we had no objections.
Okay. I'm sorry, we should get back to you now.
I'll stay here on deck.
Okay. You're in the batter's on-deck circle.
On deck.
Okay. Comments relative to the awnings?
Mr. Chairman, so the simplest way of stating this is that you kind of created this stressed look, rusted or something similar to that, right?
That is correct.
But that is fixed, right? It's not actually rusting. It's not going to change over time, is it?
I mean, it starts off as a galvanized product.
Right.
And we actually intentionally remove some of the galvanization to give it that weathered, stressed look. It is a very slow process to have it get rustier, if that's what you're concerned about. Now,
Is there any thought about after you distress it to clear coat it or something?
actually, that is certainly something that we would offer to do.
So that you can make it the way you want it. You can create the image or the look that you have, but then it doesn't get worse, it doesn't drip, it doesn't stain the concrete. It doesn't, we don't have to deal with this again in 5 years or something.
We're prepared to do that. That was one of our responses in
Okay, well,
anticipation of the
that
concern.
would be my suggestion then, is to clear coat it after you get the look you want.
Right.
So that it stays, it doesn't change, it doesn't deteriorate.
Right, we'd like to use a matte. One of the reason that we do distress it is because we don't like the shiny galvanized
That's
look.
fine,
but-
I understand that. I just, I don't want it to be holes rusting through it in
Right.
6 years and, then, you get it the way you want it, clear coat it, fix it, and then it'll be fine.
And then
I believe this is the Parma location, and I think it's 4 years old now.
So is that the only store that you have in the area that's a single store?
We have one in Canton as well.
Mostly it's double stores? I mean, this is a double.
We have single stores. The Canton's a single location. Parma's part of a strip center, so it's a multiple unit location.
Okay. So we have no problem with the two locations being integral to one another. Am I saying that right? I want to be sure that they're not so different that somebody says, how could you let that happen?
Well, no, the other side is also looking to have awnings.
Okay.
In the same vein. I mean, there was always the intention of creating two different looks, and I think we have our rendering.
You can see here where the building has got the galvanized awnings and then the black fabric awnings. And, Mission's preference is that theirs are different than the rest of the building if they have the option of doing that.
Right.
So that it stands out a little bit more.
We have I think they can you put this up on? Oh, there it is, right there.
Right.
So that was originally what was.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I could just add, Mr. Berkowitz contacted me today with some concerns with regard to the second tenant. They are looking seriously at another tenant, and so there might be the possibility of them, again, creating their own, facade character to their space, and so, he just wanted to be assured that it wasn't going to hold up the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for Mission Barbecue. So I spoke with Jim Decker, our chief building official, and we agreed we will keep those separate.
Okay.
If you're comfortable with the approval of Mission Barbecue tonight and whatever conditions you want to impose on them, then we will let Mission Barbecue move forward with their certificate of occupancy so they can move forward with their plans. And then any changes that the second tenant wants to make will have to come back for your approval.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fair. We can do that. So, questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Sidoti?
Just a few observations. I went out to the Mission Barbecue in Parma yesterday, and just so happened that Mr. Steve Overholt, your Regional Director of Operations, was on site, and I got to meet him, we talked, and we walked around the whole building, and it was a good discussion. I just, Mr. Varga brought it up already because we talked about it earlier. Just want to make sure everybody knows we have that awning, with that special effect on it. And just remember our discussion with Taco Bell. I just want to make sure we're all aware of that. If we like that and we approve it, then we approve it. But that's the way it's going to look with that rusted look. Be aware that, not be aware, but parked all day long on site is going to be that black-looking Army vehicle.
That one right there?
Right there. And a trailer that has cooking, ovens on it, refrigeration on it. So when you take barbecues out to parties or events, those are the things, that's what you use to take it. Mr. Overhaul told me that those remain on site and they're parked there, permanently until they're used. So we want to make sure where they're going to be parked here on this site.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
that type of business vehicles with signage on is actually regulated by the sign code.
Okay.
And so if it's just there because it's doing deliveries and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that, fine. But to the extent it's being used as a sign platform, there actually would be prohibited from parking it for that type of use. It'd have to be back behind the building someplace.
That's what I'm hoping, right.
Correct. That is regulated by the sign code, given the copy that's placed on it.
And I checked your site and looked at a lot of the different Mission barbecues throughout the United States. And I found that one that you're putting up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where you're putting the red awnings. It looks like it's a red fabric or it could be a red metal. And it looked very, very nice. And I was wondering, why did you switch to that?
Actually, I have a good answer for that. That building was originally a Bagger Dave's, which is a burger bourbon joint of some sort. That building was built less than 4 years ago, and they went out of business. We picked that location because A, it was a brand new building. It had a lot of good things for Mission Barbecue, and we could get in quickly and get open. We made actually very little adjustments to the architecture of that building from what it was as a Bagger Dave's. So we did some minor new openings and closed a few and things like that. But as far as the main architecture, that was pretty much the Bagger Dave's look. So it wasn't a ground up Mission Barbecue. And had we had more time and a bigger budget on that particular location, we probably would have made more changes to bring it more in line with there. But I agree, we've got a lot of people that have said it's actually a pretty handsome building.
It is,
Yes,
very handsome.
it is.
Right. Okay. And last issue is, not an issue, last observation was, out in Parma, you've got your patio on the side of the building. And the building is within a shopping center setting. And the side is where you have your patio, and it's that rails, the vertical and the horizontal rails. Over here on 306, the patio is in front of this building, and it fronts on 306, which is a very busy intersection through Menor Avenue going north and south. Ms. Mitchell, did you find that this rail look, and I saw the one at Parma, that it was decorative enough to be a front feature on 306 in front of this building? I mean, there's really just the rails, that's all they are.
I believe, that's part of their corporate identity. And when we looked at it and looked at the examples they had in other locations, from our standpoint, we didn't object. We were primarily concerned about the bollards and the enclosure. And as long as those meet the requirements, we didn't object to the color is going to be neutral, the black coloring, which will blend in. It does have somewhat of a, I don't know, industrialized look with the galvanized steel awning.
Yes,
So
right,
it complements that. And so we didn't object to that design.
And those meet the standards with respect to impact, if a car would impact it?
Well, the bollards have to meet the ASTM standards, so they've given us the drawings, and they have to be installed exactly per those standards, and as long as they do and they're spaced appropriately, then we won't have any concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Go right ahead. I need you by the microphone, please.
Yeah, I'd like to add one other thing. Different from what you saw at the Parma location, and to address some of your concerns regarding 306 and that being the front of the building, these bollards are also going to be installed in a plant bed. So there's going to be landscaping there that's going to kind of soften
That'll help.
that look.
That'll help.
Yeah.
Because the one in Parma was basically on the side, it was it was a pen.
Yeah.
A pen,
Right.
okay, but that's good, all right.
And actually, one reason why we're not upset, I mean, we were happy with the fact that it had the wall before, we were going to live with it, but we actually prefer the open railing because it's really going to showcase the people out on the patio enjoying barbecue outside, which is part of our brand. So I think they were going to be hidden when it was going to be behind a brick wall. So we don't want sort of a heavy rail that's decorative. We want you to see what's going on the other side of it. So.
Anything else?
No, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
I do have one question. How are we looking with the street trees that, in front of Bravo that came out?
Yeah, I let the contract for that today, but in all honesty, he says, it's just really getting to the good planting season now. We're starting to, it was 90 yesterday, but we're seeing the cooler weather, so he would actually prefer to wait till it gets maybe beginning of next month, end of this month.
But you are replacing them?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, good.
absolutely, yeah.
Good. Okay.
But we're replacing other bad kind of materials out there.
The more the better.
Excuse me, and at this location, you're going to install the flagpole also, like the one at Parma?
Yeah, that's
And
correct.
then you're going to have that flag also on the building,
Yeah, that's more just
Yeah,
the
a
state
more-
flag. Yes.
right.
Since you brought up Starbucks, there are a couple dead trees along the dumpster area.
Really, I've stopped in there every week except for this week. Talked to the manager. Okay.
I'm just
By the dumpster?
by the dumpster.
No problem.
One of the arborvitae, whatever that is back there.
Yeah.
It's a
Happens.
lovely shade of rust. So, just a comment.
Fine, we'll get it taken care of.
Anything else? Since we're talking about the awnings, we're going to talk about the awnings. You comfortable with clear coating?
Yes, my concern was that we see something now, and that 5 years from now, it's going to be not something that would be attractive. So if you create the look that you want, and you clear coat it, seal it, so that it doesn't continue the rust, doesn't change, then that'll be fine.
And we do have the ability to control, in fact, the amount of distress to where we can just take a lot of the shine off and give it that, not so much the rust look, and then we'll
Yeah,
clear
my
coat
own
it.
concern is that what we see when it opens is what we see in
Right.
5 years. That's
Right.
all.
Okay. Since we're going to do these separately, we'll do number 5, 6. We'll vote on that one first. That's your awnings.
The condition?
With the condition of the clear coat, yes. Is that the only condition? One condition, yeah. So I move that we vote on this with one condition.
Second.
Just when you're ready.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovic?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Tiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Snow?
Yes. You're all set?
Thank you very much.
Now we'll do yours. We'll do the bollards and the decorative fencing. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the bollards that will be installed around the patio, incorporating the planting beds and landscaping.
I'll second.
When you're ready, Jess.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovic?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Tiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Snow?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Miscellaneous review of amendment to the development plan at 8140 Norton Parkway. I see that applicant is here, so.
Evening. My name's Everett Jones. I'm representing the partnership of of Norton Parkway MOB LLC, and that it is located at 8140 Norton Parkway. And tonight, this is for the road dedication of the public road that is being worked as a development agreement between the partnership and the city to be a public tip road, and we're asking it for it to be named Wood Norton Way subdivision. So, and I think we know what the staff recommendation is. We are in agreement with everything that has been shown on the staff recommendation. We are as requested, and we're offering a 30-foot frontage to connect your trail access from the public roadway through our property to get to the trail access, and also to the property directly to the east of our lot number 3.
Mr. Zeman, any comments from the administration?
Yes, as Mr. Jones indicated, we're finalizing a proposed development agreement that should appear on council's agenda next Tuesday. So we would act, unless there's something that requires the commission's further review, we would request a recommendation to council tonight on this proposed dedication plat. Noting, as Mr. Jones indicated as well, the detail A is not really where the parties currently are in terms of a meeting of the minds on this. We're looking for more 30 feet of more frontage effectively on the cul-de-sac, and then allow for better ingress and egress to the city's 10-acre parcel for whatever purposes it might be put to in the future.
You agree to that, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we're good, right?
We are good.
Okay.
We've already had it engineered to show that 30-foot frontage.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for anyone? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with the stipulated 5 conditions.
Second.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovic?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Tiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Snow?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kath, anything from the director's report?
No, Mr. Chairman, other than I'll work with you on kind of finalizing the dates for the design awards, maybe not next meeting, but a little bit after that.
Subsequent to that?
Because, well, that'll allow us to work on plaques and presentation and whatnot. Okay.
Thanks.
And the awards dinner, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
Mission barbecue.
Mission barbecue.
So, entertain a motion to adjourn. Anyone at all?
Motion to adjourn.